Yeah.
There's a lot of drama around Ananta. Nothing Burger. Ananta did not steal Insomniac Spider-Man animation. They were given permission. Yeah, but they belong like under the same umbrella. Ananta and Spider-Man are literally under the same umbrella.
Hey, Insomniac, can I copy your homework looking game?
I seen so many of these posts on Twitter, and it's such a nothing burger of people who don't know how to Google or how companies even function. It's so weird to me.
How do these gotcha games get away with straight up ripping off Spider-Man?
My dude, if Sony actually had a problem with this game, then why would they show it on their own fucking YouTube channel?
This is how stupid people are. People will see a trailer on PlayStation and be like, "Oh, they're stealing from PlayStation." This is the level of stupidity we have officially reached.
What's up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the charmingly churlish Dr. Disaster, and the game Ananta, aka the anime GTA, has set the world on fire in the past few days, first by releasing a trailer that was mind-blowingly awesome, and second by setting up shop at this year's Tokyo Game Show and once again blowing people's minds. Gamers see this game, the sort which Western devs refuse to make these days, and we just gotta say, oh yeah! The art is incredible, the size and scope of the world in Ananta is
I
jaw-dropping,
am very excited for this game. I think this game is gonna be a lot of fun.
and the combat looks fluid and just downright fun. Obviously, when the full game comes out, it's possible that it will end up being disappointing. Maybe it's a disjointed mess or something like that. But based on what we have seen thus far,
I feel like
Ananta
I'm gonna
has
have
jumped
fun.
up to pretty much
There will be some people disappointed because the game is gonna end up not being their cup of tea. But I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun.
the top upcoming game that I am looking forward to. But naturally, since this is something that gamers enjoy, there are a bunch of game journalists out
Yep.
there who feel compelled to shit all over it.
I'm chalking this all up to female menopausal situations.
It's well known that the game journalists like to crap on anything that doesn't fit into their exclusive club of Western and Japanese studios.
Yeah, because game journals, for some reason, they have it in their head that they are like gaming influencers, that gamers are supposed to go according what they say. So they're supposed to like the game they deem worthy, and you're supposed to not like the game that they tell you not to like. So, like, I don't know who told them that. I don't know who lied to them, but that's not the role of a game journal. Game journalists are supposed to review in a very unbiased way.
Most likely because they don't get the same level of access to some of these Chinese and Korean developers that they're used to. The other day, I showed you this article here from the site The Gamer, smearing Ananta, but there are a ton of others. Here's Polygon crapping all over the game. Here
It's so
is the
stupid.
Gaming Bible attacking
By the way, there is already gameplay footage out there of people to whom they did give access to play it.
Ananta as being shameless, and you will notice that all of these complaints are based around the fact that the game's swinging traversal system bears more than a passing resemblance to Insomniac's Spider-Man. So, naturally, the Sony White Knight shills felt
Yeah,
the
how many of you guys use Twitter and seen people put like his grappling animation next to Spider-Man and saying like, "Oh, they fully copied it."
need to swoop in to save Milady PlayStation.
What is with this milady stuff? What are you, a knight of the round table? Come on.
It's really funny, though, watching these people try to defend Insomniac's honor because Ananta's trailer was prominently showcased on PlayStation's
The only thing I'm hoping is that we'll be able to make our own character, like customize the character.
own YouTube channel, and of course, PlayStation owns Insomniac, so not only are they okay with it,
Or at least eventually we'll be able to do that with time.
But considering that the publisher of the game, NetEase, has had a high-profile partnership with Sony in the past, it would appear likely that Sony has given permission to use these animations. In fact, it looks as though we have some level of confirmation that this is the case. As I'm going to show you in a minute here, these people in games journalism are just inventing reasons to hate on something that gamers
I think it's beyond hate. I think by this point there's like a clear example of the quote unquote game journalists. They don't know what they're talking about. I think people need to finally start realizing that the kind of stuff they're saying, they're pulling it out of thin air just to seem smart.
like, but their reasons for disliking it are flimsy to the point of ridiculousness, so now we can all get back to ogling Ananta's beautiful trailer.
Attractive. Nice software. Mm.
A little dance break.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I've had a
Already
lot of
done.
people tell me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the
Oh,
channel,
yeah.
so
It's been
make sure that
happening,
you
yeah.
check into that. And there's been a lot of talk about restricted mode being automatically enabled for a lot of users on YouTube, which would cut you off from a lot of your favorite channels. So don't forget to check into that as well, and turn it off if it's been turned on and you don't want it. But
I have a video on the whole situation. Even my reaction with finding out how much YouTube is screwing over our channel and hiding our videos and unsubscribing people from us. I found that out on stream, which was devastating.
Alright, let's take a look at this story about Ananta being smeared as a ripoff of Insomniac's Spider-Man. I said the other day, when talking about this game, that I was unfazed by these complaints because they didn't seem to be actionable, meaning that maybe Sony could sue them over the use of the animations,
Why would
but they
they?
clearly have no intention of doing it for whatever reason. And if they aren't suing, then I fail to see how similar animation styles affect me in any way whatsoever.
Sony is heavily involved in Marvel. NetEase, the company that's making Ananta, made Marvel Rivals. There's obvious synergy happening and they obviously are heavily collaborating on Marvel franchising. Plus, PlayStations are the ones showcasing I don't know. I feel like people are just trying to push a narrative that doesn't exist. And will I be playing it? Of course, I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna be 100% playing it on day one.
Grums talked about this on X. Nick Tech was one of the people whining about Ananta, showing some comparisons to Insomniac's
Who the hell is
Spider-Man,
Nick Tech?
and they wrote here,
Ananta is never beating these allegations of copying the Spider-Man 2 animation.
Okay.
and Grums, who worked on the OG WoW team, he wrote in response to that, OG Blizzard was never original. Our formula was to take what works from other games and combine them, then add some unique flavoring on top, just a sprinkle. It
That's
works.
basic.
Ananta is just doing what Blizzard did. And as a gamer,
That information is basic and it should be general knowledge at this point. If people refuse to understand general knowledge and refuse to understand how freaking Google works, I think they need to go back to first grade.
I simply fail to see how this is supposed to be a bad thing for me. But if, for whatever reason, you still have some kind of moral crusade against this sort of thing, allow me to show you why it appears as though these animations were basically gifted to the Ananta devs from
Also, isn't Sony doing licensing in China through NetEase? Hold on. Let me verify that. NetEase. Yeah, so they have an involvement with each other across music and gaming, including direct distribution deal for NetEase Cloud Music with Sony Music Entertainment SME.
Sony. Permaband, over on X, posted this in response to another one of the professional critics, aka corporate shills. In fact, they were responding to this tweet here where Synth Potato wrote,
Hey Insomniac, can I copy your homework looking game? How do these gotcha games get away with straight up ripping off Spider-Man? Not saying
I swear to God, these are not actual people. I think these are actual paid NPCs. Holy.
swinging mechanics shouldn't be done, but these are literally the Spider-Man 2 animations.
Anyhow, Permaband responded to this, saying, to answer your question in the second paragraph, number 1, Ananta is heavily advertised and marketed by Sony, and as evidence of this, once again,
No. I feel like for context, it's important to read the whole thing. To answer your question, the second paragraph, Ananta is heavily advertised and marketed by Sony. Sony owns Insomnia Games. NetEase published Ananta and is also partnered with Marvel and produces arguably the most popular Marvel game of recent years, Marvel Rivals. NetEase and Sony had a high-profile partnership back in 2021. Likely their partnership roles have expanded over the years. So if there really was a problem, Sony would be the one to sue. Evidently, Sony is not just fine with it, but supportive of it. Sony likely gave NetEase their explicit permission to use Spiderman mechanics, probably even asked some Insomniac devs to help with the implementation. You can have your opinions on how one-to-one it looks good, and just to put it in context, NetEase worked on Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is made by NetEase. We have Spider-Man there too. Would I be going too far out on a limb that Insomniac already, and I know, not really biggest fans of Insomniac right now, but would it be too far going that Insomniac probably already helped them with Spider-Man before for Marvel Rivals, and now they're also implementing it into Ananta?
advertised and marketed by Sony, and as evidence of this, once again, look at this here. The trailer for Ananta was shown on the fricking PlayStation YouTube channel. I promise you that before anything is ever shown on a big corporate channel like that, they will have armies of people.
I wonder if these people are just fishing for the drama of what like Nintendo is doing to Power World. They're like fishing for drama just to get clicks.
At Sony looking over the trailer to make sure there isn't something offensive or legally compromising or anything like that.
With some BS articles and Twitter posts, the game didn't even launch yet, and they started writing BS articles. Well, doesn't this kind of remind you of what happened to Black Myth Wukong? Even before the game has even released, they were already running a whole smear campaign to a point of personal attacks and actual slander.
Sony definitely would have noticed that the animations in Ananta are basically the same as what you see in Spider-Man because, as Permaband points out in point number 2, Sony owns Insomniac Games. They are technically Sony animations, and even if somehow it escaped their notice that these animations of theirs were the same that were being used in Ananta when reviewing the video, they definitely would have heard rumblings by now from gamers as we discussed this topic, and they definitely would have taken the trailer down if they had a problem with it. But that brings us to point number 3. NetEase published Ananta and is also partnered with Marvel and produces arguably the most popular.
I swear to God, these game journals, they're not even hiding the fact how much they hate Asians, are they? They are literally point blank publicly are telling you Asians, I don't know about that, especially China.
Marvel game of recent years, so Marvel will have likely been on board with this too, since NetEase has made them a shitload of money with Marvel Rivals. And then that brings us to point number 4. NetEase and Sony had a high-profile partnership back in 2021. Likely their partnership roles have expanded over the years, so if there really was a problem, Sony would be the one to sue. Evidently, Sony is not just fine with it, but supportive of it. Sony likely gave NetEase their explicit permission to use the Spider-Man mechanics, probably even asked some Insomniac,
the most inclusive, exclusive group on God's green earth. Those are the truest words ever. Bro, these game journals don't like any Asians made game, it seems. Yeah, no, that's literally what it is.
devs to help with the implementation. You can have your opinion on how one-to-one it looks, and I agree, but it's a nothing burger. The parties involved, based on available facts, likely consented to it. And to be
If I remember the IGN journal hit piece, no, it was the hit piece was made by Kotaku, and I think IGN tried to back up Kotaku. So it was it's insanely disgusting mistranslation of an interview. After which they started the slander that the developers abuse women. It was a very gross mistranslation happening, and they just dug their heels in to push that slander.
be honest, this whole situation reminds me of one of the awfuls, an affluent white female liberal, getting all butthurt when they see someone doing the so-called cultural appropriation of, like, Native American culture or something like that. This whole situation is basically the game journalists and professional critics getting all offended on behalf of their buddies at Insomniac.
Okay. At first, not gonna lie, he a little bit lost me with the analogy. Okay, but I'm back on track. I'm back on track. Yeah. It's the syndrome of these Karens being offended on someone else's behalf, even though they have nothing to do with those people.
They are clearly looking for a pat on the head from their corporate masters. You will notice that there aren't too many normal people who are getting upset about this. Sure,
Yeah, because normal people are like, oh, new game, hell yeah, sign me up.
loads of people noticed the similarities, but their response was
Yeah, and when people notice the similarities, same thing happened. The people went, hell yeah. I get to swing like a Spiderman? Hell yeah.
basically the same as mine, which was essentially to just shrug my shoulders and say, who gives a shit? But to
No, that wasn't even the reaction of people who play games. Like I said, people who play games, they looked at it and went, hell yeah. I get to swing?
top it off, we have a bit of confirmation here that Sony and Insomniac did give permission to NetEase to use Spider-Man animation. This post on X is from a person who has been attending the Tokyo Game Show this weekend. Here is another post this person made showing a photo from the Tokyo Game Show, suggesting that they are indeed at the event, and here is another post from this person showing the same thing. But
Wait. They had like the magazines with the art and stuff for Ananta. Oh, that's pretty cool. I really want to get back into like collecting art books for games and anime. So if you guys have any recommendations of good art books, please let me know. And Aisha, the channel name is Dr. Disaster.
is the post where they offer some confirmation that this Ananta controversy is a nothing burger. This guy wrote, in response to the permabanned tweet, can confirm, today I asked the Ananta devs about this at Tokyo Game Show about possible conflicts with Spider-Man plagiarism complaints. They told me there's no issue for similar reasons. So basically, yes, Ananta has some level of permission to use elements of the Spider-Man game.
It's like, so the way he swings, it's literally like a combination of Spider-Man movement and like the webs from Venom, which again, Marvel Rivals already had that, so they would be already familiar with doing that.
In their game, and given that fact, I sincerely fail to understand how this is in any way bad for me as a gamer. Maybe it's bad for the shills who wanted to drum up controversy and find a way to demonize a game that is not a part of their club, but for me, I'm not bothered at all.
Yeah, they wanted to create drama, make money out of it, and tell people what they should or should not like.
But I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think about these Ananta animations? Does this
Great video. I think this is so stupid. Like gaming journals, I'm sorry, but if you're so bad at doing your job, something as simple as reporting on games, maybe you should lose your job. Just a thought. I don't freaking understand who is keeping these gaming journal outlets on life support. I don't get it. How are they even getting funding? Acrobatics aren't Marvel invention. They're not. Yeah, I'll definitely be playing this one. Same.